Life is full of uncertainty. We all face moments when the path ahead isn't clear, when doors seem closed, and when it feels like we're stuck in a holding pattern, waiting for something to change. We try, we plan, we push, but it seems like nothing is moving forward. In those moments, it's easy to feel anxious, to start doubting, and to wonder if we're ever going to get to where we need to be. But I want to remind you today, don't worry. God will open the right doors, and His timing is perfect. When we look at our lives, we often focus on the doors that are shut, the opportunities that seem out of reach, or the plans that haven't worked out as we envisioned. It's easy to become fixated on what's not happening. But what if we took a step back and trusted that God, in His infinite wisdom, is in control of the timing of everything? What if we trusted that the closed doors are just as important as the open ones, because they are part of God's plan to direct us to something better, something greater, something more aligned with our purpose? There are times when we feel like we've been standing in front of a door for so long, waiting for it to open, but it hasn't budged. Maybe it's a job opportunity, a relationship, or a dream that seems impossible to reach. The temptation in those moments is to push harder, to force the door open, or to settle for something that's not what we really need. But remember, God knows what's on the other side of the door. He knows the path that will lead you to your breakthrough, and He knows when it's the right time for you to step into it. In the Bible, we are reminded over and over again that God is a provider, a protector, and a guide. He has a plan for each of us, and His plan is always good. Sometimes the doors that we're trying to push open aren't the doors that will bring us the peace, fulfillment, or joy that we truly desire. God knows what's best for us, and He won't open the wrong door just because we want it to open. Instead, He'll open the door that is meant for us, the one that will lead us to the life He has promised. I know that waiting can be difficult. I know that when we see others moving forward, it's easy to start doubting ourselves and questioning our own journey. But remember, the right door will open at the right time. God's timing is always perfect, and what might seem like a delay is actually His way of preparing us for something better. Don't let the wait discourage you. Trust in His plan. Trust that He is working behind the scenes, aligning everything for your good. When God opens a door for you, it will be unmistakable. It won't be a door you have to force open or manipulate. It will be the right fit, the right timing, and the right season. And when that door opens, you will walk through it with confidence, knowing that it was God's hand guiding you every step of the way. I want to encourage you to stop worrying about the doors that haven't opened yet. Stop trying to force things to happen in your own timing. Trust that God has a perfect plan for your life, and He will open the right doors when the time is right. You don't have to make it happen on your own. You just have to trust. Keep moving forward and believe that God will lead you exactly where you need to be. Don't worry, the right door is coming, and when it opens, you will know it was worth the wait. Keep your faith strong, keep your heart open, and keep trusting that God's plan is greater than anything you could ever imagine. He will open the right door, and it will lead you to the life of purpose and fulfillment He has already prepared for you. There are moments in life when you feel as though you're standing in front of a closed door, waiting for it to open, and you begin to wonder if it ever will. The waiting can feel frustrating, and you may even start to doubt whether it's ever going to happen. But here's something powerful to remember. God has a way of opening the right doors at the right time, and when He opens them, no one can shut them. So even when it feels like nothing is happening, trust that God is at work behind the scenes. We want things to happen on our own timeline. We push for opportunities, try to force things into place, and get discouraged when doors seem closed. But the truth is, God sees the bigger picture. He knows what lies ahead, and He understands exactly when you're ready to walk through that door. That closed door you're facing right now, it could be protecting you from something you can't see. Maybe that job, that relationship, or that opportunity isn't the one that will bring you peace or joy. Maybe it's just a stepping stone to something better, something far beyond what you could have imagined for yourself. When you're waiting, it's easy to get restless. You might look around and see others walking through open doors, achieving their dreams, and wonder why things aren't moving for you. But you must remember that just because someone else's door is open doesn't mean it's the right door for you. Everyone has their own journey, their own timing. What looks like an open door for someone else could very well be a trap for you. When it's your turn, the door will open, and it will open wide. You won't have to fight for it or struggle with it. It will be God's divine provision in your life. This waiting period isn't wasted time. In fact, it's during the waiting that God is often doing His most powerful work. He's refining your character, building your resilience, and teaching you to trust Him. Waiting can teach us patience, humility, and dependence on Him. It's a time of preparation for what's ahead. There is a season for everything, and God has your season planned out perfectly. So don't be discouraged by the closed door. Instead, see them as opportunities for growth. Trust that in God's perfect timing, He will open the door that is meant for you. And when that door opens, don't be surprised by the peace that will accompany it. It's not going to be something you have to force or push for. It will be a door that you walk through with confidence, knowing that it's the right one. You won't have to question it because deep down you'll know it's been orchestrated by God. In that moment, you'll see that all of your waiting wasn't in vain. The right door was always there, waiting for you to be ready for it. So keep trusting, keep believing, and keep moving forward. God is opening the right doors at the right time. When you're in a season of waiting, it's easy to get anxious. You may wonder why things aren't happening as quickly as you hoped, why opportunities seem to be slipping through your fingers, or why the door you thought would open remains shut. But the truth is, the waiting period is never wasted. In fact, it's often the most important time of all. You may not realize it now, but during this waiting period, God is working on things that you can't even see. He's preparing you for the blessing that's ahead. He's shaping you, refining you, and helping you grow in ways that will equip you for what's to come. When a door doesn't open, it's easy to get discouraged. But you must remember that God's timing is perfect. What feels like a delay is often a season of preparation. You're being molded, your character's being strengthened, and your faith is being deepened. While you wait, God is working behind the scenes, aligning everything perfectly. He's making sure that when that door opens, you'll be fully prepared to step into the new season with the strength and wisdom what you need. So instead of looking at this time as wasted, see it as an opportunity for growth. Know that you're being equipped for something much greater than what you've imagined. The blessing that is coming will require the preparation you're going through right now. Another key point to understand is that the door God has for you is always the right door. Too often we become frustrated because doors we thought would open remain locked, or doors that we were sure were for us end up closing. But God knows exactly what's best for you. He knows your heart, your dreams, and your desires, and He has the perfect plan for your life. When God is at work in your life, you won't have to force things. You won't have to make things happen on your own. The right door will open at the right time, and when it does, it will fit you perfectly. We often think that if we don't see immediate results, something is wrong. But trust that God's plan is bigger than your current circumstances. The door that is meant for you won't pass you by. It's been divinely designed for your purpose. It may not look like what you expect, and it may not come in the way you envision, but it will be the right door. It will be. So don't be discouraged by closed doors. Instead, embrace the waiting period. Rest in the fact that God is preparing something great for you, and when the right door opens, you'll be ready to walk through it with confidence, knowing that it's exactly where you're meant to be. When you're walking through a season of waiting, it's easy to feel discouraged, like your efforts are in vain, and the breakthrough you've been hoping for is taking longer than expected. However, it's important to shift your perspective during these times. The process of waiting is not a sign of rejection, but rather a sign of preparation. God is never late. He's always right on time. In fact, what feels like a delay is actually divine timing. During these moments, when doors are closed and opportunities seem distant, it's crucial to recognize that God is working in ways that you can't always see. He's preparing you, refining you, and setting up circumstances in such a way that when the right door finally opens, you'll be ready to walk through it. The key is to trust the process and understand that in the waiting, you are being shaped for something greater than what you have even imagined. The doors that God has for you are not only meant to open at the right time, but are also the right doors for your life. You may have encountered doors in the past that seemed promising, but ultimately led to disappointment. You may have faced moments where doors slammed shut and you questioned why things weren't going your way. But understand that God knows what is best for you. His plan for your life is greater than anything you could ever plan for yourself. When a door closes, it is not a rejection, it is a redirection. God knows what He's doing. The right doors will open not because of your effort, but because they are part of His divine design. The doors that God opens are the ones that are meant for you, the ones that lead to peace, fulfillment, and a future that aligns with your purpose. Don't get discouraged when things don't happen according to your timeline. God is orchestrating everything in perfect order, and when the right time comes, He will open the right door. It's also important to remember that God is not only concerned with the destination, but also with the journey. The trials and the waiting are refining you, strengthening you, and building your character. Without the waiting, you wouldn't have the strength to handle the blessings that God is preparing for you. The challenges you face during the waiting period are part of the process, helping to build your faith and resilience. When you walk through that door, you'll be ready for the responsibilities, the opportunities, and the challenges that come with it. You'll be equipped with wisdom, patience, and trust that you didn't have before. Embrace the journey, because every step is preparing you for something greater. The time spent waiting and growing is never wasted. It's a part of the beautiful process that will lead you to the breakthrough and the open door that God has promised. God's timing and His plans are always far better than our own. When the right door opens, you'll know it. It won't feel forced. It will bring peace to your heart, clarity to your mind, and alignment to your life. The doors that God opens are always aligned with His perfect will for your life. Trust that the door you've been waiting for will not pass you by. And when it opens, you will walk through it confidently, knowing that you've been prepared for this moment. You'll walk into your blessing, and it will be everything you've hoped for and more. There are seasons in life where things seem uncertain, where you feel stuck or like you're wandering without a clear direction. But the truth is, during these seasons, God is at work in ways that you can't always see. He's moving behind the scenes, orchestrating every detail, preparing you for the future He has planned for you. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't seem to be going your way, but remember, God's timing is perfect. The delays, the unanswered prayers, and the closed doors are not signs of God's neglect, but rather signs that He is preparing you for something greater than what you could ever imagine. Sometimes the waiting period is just as important as the breakthrough itself. It builds character, strengthens your faith, and refines your heart so that when the right opportunity comes, you'll be ready to embrace it with open arms. When you feel like you're stuck or not seeing the results you desire, it's easy to assume that maybe the doors are closing because you've done something wrong. But you need to understand that not every closed door is a setback. In fact, some of the doors that appear closed are the very doors God is protecting you from. He knows what's ahead. He sees what you cannot see. He knows the struggles that might come with that door you're trying to force open. Trust that His protection is for your benefit. Sometimes the right door won't open until you are ready to walk through it. It's not about rushing, it's about being prepared. God's goal is to get you to the right place, at the right time, with the right people, and in the right mindset. When the right door opens, it will be exactly what you need, and you'll be equipped to handle it. God is a faithful provider, and He always provides in ways that are perfectly suited for your life. The key to walking through the right door is learning to trust in God's provision. Too often we spend so much time trying to figure things out on our own, trying to force our own way, but the truth is that God's provision is always abundant. He has a way of providing exactly what you need when you need it. His timing is never off, and His resources are never limited. When you're facing a closed door, instead of being frustrated, take a moment to pause and reflect. Trust that God is guiding you and that His provision will come in unexpected ways. The right door will open at the right time, and when it does, you will have everything you need to walk through it confidently. One of the greatest blessings in life is knowing that you are not alone in your journey. God is with you every step of the way. Even in moments of uncertainty, you can take comfort in knowing that He's always working things out for your good. His plans for you are far greater than anything you can imagine. When you trust in His direction, the right doors will open. The breakthrough will come, and you will be ready to step into the life He has been preparing for you. Trust the process. Trust His timing and trust His provision, because the right door will open at the right time, and it will lead you to the purpose and the blessings that He has for you. There are moments in life when things don't go as planned, and the doors we try to walk through feel closed. It's easy to become frustrated and question why our dreams aren't materializing. But what we fail to see in those moments is that God is positioning us for a greater blessing. He's at work behind the scenes, aligning everything perfectly for the right time. You may not see it now, but your breakthrough is on its way. The doors that feel closed may actually be God's way of protecting you from something that isn't meant for you. Trust that He has a plan, and when the right moment arrives, the right doors will open. It's important to understand that sometimes God will close a door to lead us to a better one. We often find ourselves clinging to opportunities that don't serve our highest purpose. When a door is closed, we might feel disappointment or fear of missing out. But God's intention is always to lead us toward something better. His perspective is much broader than ours. He sees the bigger picture and knows that the doors we want to walk through may not be aligned with the future He's preparing for us. When one door closes, don't despair. It's simply an indication that God has something more perfect for you in mind. You may not know it right now, but a better opportunity is coming your way. God is a faithful provider. He doesn't just give us what we want, He gives us what we need. Sometimes we try to force open doors that we think will lead us to success or happiness, but God knows that the right door will provide everything we need. We may think that we're ready for something, but God knows when we are truly prepared. Trusting in His timing is key. He doesn't rush and He doesn't leave anything to chance. His provision is always on time, and it's always more than enough. When the right door opens, it will be the perfect fit for where you are in life. You won't need to strive or struggle for it, because God's provision will be clear and everything will fall into place. When you're in the middle of waiting, it's easy to get discouraged and wonder if your breakthrough will ever come. But remember, God is working on you in ways that you can't always see. Waiting isn't wasted time. It's a time of preparation, a time of growth, and a time of strengthening your faith. Trusting that God is refining you during the waiting process is essential. You are being equipped for something bigger than you can imagine. The challenges you face now will make you stronger and more prepared to walk through the doors that are about to open for you. So don't rush the process. Know that God is preparing you for your breakthrough, and when the time is right, He will open the door. God's plan for you is always greater than your own. We tend to limit ourselves by focusing on our current situation or the things we can see with our own eyes. But God sees beyond what we can perceive. He knows the future, and He is preparing you for greatness. Sometimes when things aren't going as we expect, it's simply a sign that God is doing something bigger than we could have imagined. His plans are always for your good, and they always lead to greater opportunity. Trust in His direction. Know that when the right door opens, it will be the perfect fit for you, and when it does, you will walk through it with confidence, knowing that God has gone before you and made the way clear. There are moments in life when we feel uncertain, as if we've done everything right, yet the doors we need to open remain closed. It's easy to feel frustrated when the road ahead is unclear, but the truth is, when we experience delays and setbacks, it's often a sign that God is preparing us for something greater. We must remember that God doesn't work on our timeline. He works on His divine schedule. Every challenge, every detour, and every closed door is part of His perfect plan. In those moments of waiting, we need to trust that God is aligning everything in our lives for a reason. He's shaping us, molding us, and refining us, so when the right opportunity comes, we'll be ready to step into it. Trust in the process. What looks like a setback may actually be a divine setup for a future that's beyond our imagination. God doesn't just open any door. He opens the right doors at the right time. Often we find ourselves pushing for opportunities that we believe are best for us, only to face rejection or delay. In these moments, we might wonder if we missed our chance or if we're being overlooked. But God, in His infinite wisdom, knows the right timing for each of us. He knows which doors will lead to the best outcomes, even if it means waiting longer than we would like. We may think we're ready for something, but God knows exactly when we'll be equipped, when we'll be prepared, and when we'll be positioned for success. Instead of fighting against the closed doors, we need to trust that God will open the ones meant for us. His timing is perfect. And when that door finally opens, we'll realize it was worth every moment of waiting. The hardest thing to do is wait, especially when it feels like everyone around us is moving forward. But during our waiting periods, God is working behind the scenes. He's orchestrating circumstances, guiding our steps, and preparing us for what's ahead. Waiting is not wasted time. It's a season of growth. It's when we wait that we often learn valuable lessons, build resilience, and strengthen our faith. In these moments, we might not see it, but God is setting us up for something better than we could have imagined. Every challenge we face Every door that seems to stay shut is a chance to grow deeper in our trust and dependence on Him. When the time is right, God will open the doors that were always meant for us, and we'll step into them with a renewed sense of purpose and gratitude. We need to remember that God's perspective is far greater than ours. We tend to focus on the doors that are closed and the opportunities that haven't materialized yet. But God sees the big picture. He knows what's ahead, and He's making sure that we're prepared for it. The closed doors we face now may very well be His way of protecting us from something that isn't aligned with our purpose. We might not understand why things aren't happening the way we want them to, but we can trust that God's plan is always greater than ours. When the right door opens, it will be the perfect fit for who we are, where we are, and where we're going. We don't need to force it. God's timing will ensure that the doors that need to open will do so at just the right moment. It's easy to get discouraged when we feel like things aren't happening fast enough. But we must remember that God's process often involves waiting, refining, and preparation. We don't always see the work that's being done behind the scenes, but we can trust that God is orchestrating everything for our good. Every closed door is an invitation to trust Him more, to lean on His promises, and to grow stronger in our faith. When we look at life through the lens of trust, we begin to realize that every challenge is a stepping stone, and every delay is a chance for God to work in us. So instead of worrying about when the right door will open, focus on trusting that it will open in God's perfect timing. When we step into the right doors, we don't need to worry about what's next. God has already gone before us and prepared the way. Our job is to trust Him, remain faithful, and continue walking in obedience. When we trust in God's direction and timing, we can have peace, knowing that every door that opens is a part of His greater plan for our lives. So don't worry and don't stress about the doors that are still closed. Instead, trust that the right doors will open at the right time, and when they do, you will step into the blessing and opportunity that God has been preparing for you all along. When we face uncertainty and feel that the doors we need to walk through are not opening, it is important to trust that God is in control. His timing is perfect, and He knows what is best for us, even when we can't see it. While we may experience closed doors, delays, or setbacks, these are not signs of rejection, but opportunities for growth and preparation. God is working behind the scenes, setting the stage for the right doors to open at the right moment. Our role is to stay faithful, trust His process, and remain patient. Remember, the right door will open at the perfect time, and when it does, it will lead us into the blessings and opportunities God has been preparing for us. So don't worry or be discouraged. Trust that the best is yet to come, and when that door opens, it will be worth every moment of